Hey everybody, my name is Marshall and I am the programmer for RunnerUp Studios, and in this quick video I wanted to show you guys how we're doing our 2D lighting system for our upcoming game Cryo. Now a couple quick claimers before we get started. Number one, this is a very simple lighting system I'm going to be showing to you. That means we can only handle rectangular shapes with it and we can't do soft shadows or what we call penumbras, which are the soft areas between total darkness and total light that give shadows that soft look. You can see here all my shadows are hard edged. The second thing that I wanted to say is that this is just one way of doing a lighting system. This is not the end all be all by any means, so feel free to experiment and try different things with your lighting system. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump into step one. So step one is very simple. All we do is draw a black background. Now this is going to be the color of the darkness in your world. Then we just go ahead and draw a white circle on top of that, and I've drawn some boxes here for what are going to be the shadows in our world. Now here's the important step. This is where we figure out where these shadows are going to be. You can see here I've highlighted these shadows in red. These are the shapes, the polygons that we're going to be using to cut out parts of our light. You can think of them like a mask. Wherever you see red, wherever these red polygons are, we're not going to be drawing our light. We're going to be cutting that part out. Now the tricky thing is calculating these shadows. How do we figure out these polygon shapes that we want to remove from our light? To figure out what our shadow polygon is, let's take a look at this example. Now when I'm comparing a light to one of these rectangular shadow holes, I like to start by getting what I call the two anchor points. The two anchor points are two corners of this rectangle that are going to be the beginning of my shadow polygon. Now these anchor points change depending on whether the light bulb is directly to the side or above or below the rectangle, or if it's catty corner to the rectangle. If it's directly to the side, then I just grab the two closest points on the rectangle to form my anchor points. And if it's catty corner, I grab the second and third closest point on the rectangle. Then, with those two anchor points figured out, I just find two more points at the same angle but farther away from the light bulb, well outside the range of the light bulb, and use those to complete the polygon. And if you want to make sure that the shadow completely covers the rectangle, you can go ahead and add that closest point back into the polygon. And you can see here if we just cut out those polygons from our light circle, it looks like it's casting shadows. Now we only have two things left to do. We need to fade out our light, because right now it's a perfectly white circle that has a hard edge to it. Real world lights sort of fade out and they get softer over distance. So we're going to fade out our white circle here for our light, and then we're going to change the way we draw it to the world. So rather than drawing a white circle, we instead illuminate the area or show the area beneath the circle rather than just drawing the white pixels for it. To fade out the light, we just run a very simple pixel shader that looks at each pixel on the white circle and figures out how far it is from the center of the circle. The farther it is from the center, the lower the opacity is for that pixel, the lower the alpha value. And that way, the pixels at the very edge of the circle are almost invisible, so that our light fades out naturally over a distance and looks much more like an actual light. Now all we need to do is change the draw mode so we can see the ground beneath it. And now here we have our final step. And this is often the easiest step depending on what game framework or engine you're using, but all we're doing is changing the draw mode of our light from a regular draw mode to multiply. Now normally when you draw something, it just takes the color value of each pixel and draws that to the screen. And in our case, it draws a white or a shade of white to the screen for each pixel of our light. But if we change it to multiply mode, what it does instead is it looks at the color of the pixel for the light, and it looks at the color of the pixel for whatever's below the light, and it multiplies those two together. Now if you multiply color by pure white, it's going to stay the same color, but if you multiply that same color by black, it's going to turn it black. And you can see here at the center of our circle, where the white is the widest, it shows almost entirely the pixel or the colors beneath it. And then towards the edge of the circle, it shows a darker color closer to black. So that way it looks like our light is actually illuminating the scene rather than just drawing a white circle on top of it. So that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thanks so much for watching. I hope it helped. If you have any constructive criticism or comments or anything, please let us know. I'm looking for a lot of feedback on how to structure these videos and how to explain things. If you want to check out more of our stuff, including our game and our blog, go ahead and check out our website at runnerupstudios.com. I'll put the link in the description. Now I hope you guys enjoyed watching this, and I'll see you in another video.